Well, his arrival was foreshadowed just a little bit earlier. Danny Burgess mentioned it. I refer, of course, to the Pegasus Man, as we've come to know Ross Ryan, a great singer-songwriter who is now going to have a chat with somebody who's really brought out the best in many of our top names in this particular award presentation over the last few years. I refer to the great music journalist Bernie Howard. So Bernie to take the stage, along with Ross Ryan, and we're going to find out a bit more about this great songwriter and singer who in fact has been the brains behind triple gold album songwriting performances. Ladies and gentlemen, make them welcome.
Thanks, Mike. Now, I think occasionally we get the opportunity to hear from one of the really great Australian songwriters, and there's no doubt that Ross...
But he couldn't be here tonight.
We're just going to run through a couple of questions that will hopefully give you an insight into the songwriting process. So you're getting to hear from one of the very, very best. He's very modest, but he's one of the very best we've ever produced here. Ross, you've written about people. You know, I've heard songs that go back to 1968 and High School Girlfriends, and you've also written about ideas. So how difficult is it? How do you differentiate? Is there any difference between writing about people and writing about ideas?
Writing about people is the easiest, particularly if it involves someone you've known or a relationship you've had. And particularly the stuff that I wrote, first of all, when I was like in high school and primary school. In fact, the first song I wrote was in primary school, was about girls leaving me. That really started the roll off. I have a long history of this happening.
And if you don't believe you...
And I thank them all for it. It worked. Thank you.
I recommend you go to his website and buy his CDs, because there's a cavalcade of unfortunate love affairs that trickles through every piece of work you've ever done, I think. And that leads to the other thing you write about. You're very humorous in your writing, and that's a tricky thing to do, to be genuinely funny when you're writing a song. How do you do that?
Well, that's a huge compliment, actually, because I think it's very hard to be funny. I suppose it's because I was an acoustic act, and I was always interested in comedy, once again, from a very young age. And being a singer-songwriter, they say that every songwriter has one song, and they just spend their whole career rewriting it. And a genius has two songs. So I suppose that when I was on stage, I was always aware of the fact that, you know, I'd seen so many people who were singer-songwriters go, and now here's another depressing song I wrote in my lounge room. So if I was going to play one of those songs, I would try to have a funny story about how the song came about, and then people would actually pay more attention to the song rather than just me being dour all the way through. So,
And you've become undour very effectively over your career, I think.
well, I have my moments.
And the other thing, you also write, you tend to resolve a lot of issues about yourself. And I'm thinking of a song called Anthem, where you're this American roots, you're transplanted to Australia, you're in Albany, Western Australia, and you're trying to resolve who's Ross Ryan. So how hard is it to write about yourself, and can you use that music to work out who you are?
Wow, that's really deep. I don't know if I thought that when I wrote the song Anthem. It was the fact that I was born in Kansas and came out when I was 9. My mother was a war bride, and we came back to Australia and were on a farm. I felt at the time when I wrote that particular song, and if you haven't heard the song, which I assume 99% of you, or probably more, haven't, because it was an obscure song on an album that sold 9 copies. But thank you for bringing it up. At the time, Australia was just coming of age, in my opinion. The song starts with a line that says, someone said, "God bless Australia," and we all looked embarrassed. And that was kind of what it was. I mean, I wouldn't play that song now, and I wouldn't write that song now, because in the last 35 years since I wrote that, there's been a huge change in this country.
And have you changed with it, do you think? Does it?
I got older. Did I change with it? Oh, I mean, everybody changes over that period of time.
And that comes through your music, you think? So when you're writing personal songs, your perception constantly changes. So songwriters here that are growing older should be not afraid of reflecting who they are as they...
Well, no. They say people who write novels and stuff, write what you know, and, you just look in the mirror or you look at your own life and you go from there. I try not to write just songs that are specifically about me, but I try to do that from a starting point and then try to make them more universal. But you kind of need to kind of gone somewhere. You can't write a novel about Timbuktu if you don't at least visit it once,
And you've been in that position where you've actually written a classic song, a song that, you heard the applause when Pegasus was mentioned. So do you know, and I've heard you speak about this, do you know when you write a classic, the moment you've written it, that this is going to be something that enters the heart of every Australian?
No. I've thought of other songs that I thought were going to be classics and they weren't. No, Pegasus was a song that came about as a comedy song because Ross does mean horse, and I thought that was kind of funny. Depressing but funny. And so I was writing that song, and it was, in fact, I was working it up as a track, as a comedy song for my show. And my producer, the late and great Peter Dawkins, hey, big cheer for Mr. Peter Dawkins, saw something in the song that I'd missed. And I remember playing it for him, and he asked me to play a bunch of tunes, and that particular song. And I said, oh, by the way, I've written this little ditty. And he kind of went, well, that's the single. And he recognised it as something that was going to work. And I, in fact, give Peter Dawkins and Peter Martin, who did the arrangement, total credit for that song being a hit, because I just turned up, folks.
And produced a song that won all our hearts. Now, Ross has difficulty. He's convinced that he can never sell a show in Sydney. So what you're going to hear now, we're going to get a chance to hear Ross Ryan live. This is rare in Sydney. So let's make him feel really, really welcome so that he understands there are people here that actually love Ross Ryan. Thank you.
We'll be right with you. This is theoretically, you're just supposed to go straight into a song and it's really smooth, but it's not going to happen. It went out of tune while it was backstage. Damn. Oh, this is so embarrassing now. Look, just chat amongst yourselves for a second here. This is a relatively recent song. The guitar isn't getting any louder, but I can hear it. Why can't I shake it? This low, lonesome feeling. And why can't I make it through even one lousy day? I should know better, but till I'm stronger, I need a cold river to carry me away. Cold river to take me away. People, they tell you it takes time for healing, but my heart's so impatient it can't bear the delay. So if the only way out is to face up and break down, may that cold river carry me away. Cold river, take me away. You'll hear the guitar eventually. This is why I can't get a gig in Sydney. You know, you guys have just destroyed my career. You're now obligated to induct me into the Hall of Fame. You know that, don't you? Let the water surround me, let it flow through my veins, and hold me until I start breathing. The guitar's now too loud. Once, maybe twice in life you get lucky. And I guess that's why goodbyes are so hard to fake. And for me it's not easy, but I hope that you're smiling as that cool river carries you away. Cool river takes you away. Cool river carries you away. Cool river takes you away. Cool river takes you away. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to finish off with a song that's been very handy. Thank you all very much. I am Pegasus, my name means horse. I can fly high with you, but it changed my course. I am Michael, I am Jeffrey and John. I don't want to leave you unless you want me gone. I am Genesis, I have no fears. I make my plans to land for, I plan to stay here. I am Simon, I am Demetrius and John. And I don't want to leave you unless you want me gone. I am flying, but let me down. I don't need the things that once kept you around. It's not too late to know who I am, for I am Sagittarius, because it rhymes. I am flying, but let me down. I don't need the things once kept you around. It's not too late to know who I am. For I am Pegasus, my name means horse. I can fly high with you now, but it changed my course. I'm Michael, I am Jeffrey and John. I don't want to leave you. For I am Pegasus, my name means horse. I can fly high with you now, but I changed. I am Michael, I am Jeffrey, I am Demetrius and John. very kind. Enjoy your evening. Thank you very much.
Thanks indeed to Ross Ryan. I suppose you could say that the beard is gone, the hair maybe is a different colour, but the voice is still there, and it was great also to learn a bit about the man in terms of that great interview with Bernie Howard. Thanks to both of them, and certainly thanks to Ross for adding to the treasure of great music that we have enjoyed from him over quite a period now.